Hey everybody, welcome back to The Wealthy Sailor. I'm still trying to frame these shots to be a little better. I would like to get my computers in the background because I think it makes it look more business and financy. However, it occurs to me that oftentimes I have stuff on my computer that I really don't need to be publishing on Facebook or on YouTube rather. For example, we have a intercompany messaging app, and I don't really want to put that on there. You know, like financials and rosters with names on them. None of that. So I can only put a few select things on there. But please imagine that during normal work times, it's more than just a desktop. I actually have like stuff on these screens that very businessy. Trust me, I'm a business person. Okay, so this video I want to make a little shorter because the last one ran really long. I don't mind talking more, and I like to kind of just talk and get some things off my mind. But with that said, I want them to be kind of set up in such a way that they're information dense and not going as long. I think TikTok has actually made me want to make things more information dense because a lot of times people can get more information out very quickly if they just have a couple seconds. It forces you to be more efficient with your wording. Okay, so I want to talk about goals. I always have goals. Always, always, always. Except for lately. I haven't really had too many goals. They haven't been as clearly defined as I usually do. So I want to think about what I wanted out of that. Now, my last video, I wanted to have a net worth of $500,000 so I can have a net worth of a certain amount. So when my wife, because we got married, retired, I want to be able to retire with her. That's been pushed off. We have a baby now, so I'm not retiring until age 55. I'm actually retiring on my youngest son's 18th birthday. I'll be 55 at that time. So I want to figure out how do I do that. I have a business now, as most of you know, but this is usually not an industry where you have long-term businesses. So it's not like I'm going to pass this down to my kids and then retire and let them run it. I just won't have the ability to do so because these businesses usually burn themselves out. Pretty much once the maintenance intervals start hitting on these vans after like 4 or 5 years, and if you've had anything catastrophic happen on the road with insurance, that's usually when a lot of these businesses tend to close down. So where am I with the 500,000? Now, if I don't include the value of the current logistics company, which I don't because they're really hard to liquidate. So in order for me to count it, I think I'd have to liquidate it easily enough that I could actually realize that return. That's valued at like 1.1 to 1.5 million. But I'm valuing it as zero because very rarely have these sales gone well for the seller. So I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to value it like that. So forget that. Push that aside. So right now, if you don't include that, my total net worth is about $750,000, which is really good, but quite a ways to go. If you ever read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, really good book, by the way, I totally recommend it. It said that $1 million, the reason that book was about $1 million, that's why I use it as baselines, because that's what you need to retire. Now, that amount is roughly $8 million by today's standards, I believe. I didn't do the math on it myself. I just read an article that said that. So let's just assume that's right. It might not be. Hopefully it is. So $8 million. So how do I 10x my current net worth? Well, okay. So let's start coming up with a plan. So first, it's 2023. By the end of the year, I should have another business open. This one would be a longer term business. So that's one way we're working on it. Not really sure how well it's going to turn out yet. We're starting it for cheap so we can test the idea and the premise. And then that business I will talk a lot more openly about on my channel. But I can't until we actually get open and we're started. So until then, just know there's a second business opening. Hopefully in the next 6 months it's good, and then we'll go from there. Now, since I already live comfortably off my income from the logistics company, any profit, if I make any profit from the new company, will go towards growth of that company and growth towards other investments. So this year, I want to open up that business. That will be my number one thing for the end of the year. Now, 2024. I have 2 goals for 2024. Besides expanding the new company I want to open, because I think I'll be able to expand it, the second thing is I want to try an Airbnb. I've always been interested in real estate, and trying an Airbnb seems like a safe way to do it because I'm basically buying a rental property, which I already have. I already have a bunch of experience with, but I'm going to do an Airbnb version of that. So expect a video about that if we do that. And then the second thing, by the end of next year, I think we'll be in a little bit of a recession, which might make the Airbnb a little risky, but we'll try. I would like to buy land somewhere. So I grew up in the city, and my wife did not. Well, she did, but she also grew up very country in South Florida. So I've always had this idea of having like land somewhere to kind of get away from stuff. And I even feel it now, especially with work and like the business and stuff. I have this, fantasy about just getting in my car on like a Friday after work, going up to my land and, just hanging out up there. And I really don't have any specific wants out of it. Like I don't hunt, I don't fish. I have no problem with doing either. I just don't do it. But kind of go up there, maybe like have a cabin or something up there, just get away from everything, unplug from the world and everything like that, and reset. Read, paint, something like that. For those of you who don't know, yes, I actually do paint. For those of you who know how the tax scheme works with paintings, you know why. So I want to buy something next year. The reason being is because I think next year is going to be a recession. I think it's going to be cheaper. If I'm wrong, I will delay that. But I want that land paid off by the time I retire. Right now, it's going to be tight for me to get any of my properties I own paid off by the time I retire, unless I start making extra payments. So I will work on that. The one thing I will do to work on that is I had lifestyle creep start. Once I opened up the logistics company, it was a long time between the time I got back from my last deployment and so you come off a deployment, they still pay you for a couple months. So they paid me for 4 months after my last deployment. So I got back in January, they paid me to June, they paid me till May. But your salary is greatly reduced because you're not deployed anymore. It's really just enough to keep your benefits going. From the time that money ran out, I was on my savings. Now, I would normally go on another deployment, but I got accepted for the business for the logistics company. So I decided to, instead of deploying again, I want to stay open because if I deployed and then I got the call up saying, hey, you need to start this business, it would be hard to make that happen. I would need to get home, and by doing that, I'd be burning bridges with the company, and the company always did right by me, so I'm not trying to do that to them. So I'm like, okay, I'd rather just stay home until I know more, which worked out because I only had to wait like a month and a half before I got called off the bench to start opening up procedures. So that's what I did. I started all that stuff and everything. I opened October 6th of 2021. The issue is that I didn't start collecting salary for myself until after January of 2022. The reason being is because although I was making money from day one, I was making a very small amount. So I was just living off my savings, but then I started living off my credit card. Just for a little bit. I wasn't so much living off my credit card, I was just using my credit card to help with some purchases and then just making the minimum payments on it. So I had credit card debt by the time I started making money, so now I paid that up. Now, what I have found is once I opened up the floodgates and be like, oh, I'm okay with revolving credit card debt, man, it was really easy just to let that keep going. And then I would pay it off, and then we'd want to take a trip, and then more would come in. 2 months ago, I had no credit card debt, and now I have almost $10,000 in credit card debt when my mom passed away because I went up to Philadelphia twice. I had to take the whole family up there, the baby, all of that. So we had to get an Airbnb, and it couldn't just be any Airbnb. It had to be like a nice Airbnb because we needed something with 4 bedrooms. And then I don't know if any of you know about the Airbnb market in Philadelphia, but it is awful. You're either staying at something not nice at all or something the complete opposite. You're staying at like a 5-bedroom high-rise downtown and stuff. And I didn't want to stay downtown because of the traffic. So we end up staying like almost an hour outside the city and stuff. I mean, these are nice places to stay though. They're just, not like most cities' Airbnb markets. So, credit card payments, that has to get paid off. Then I did some upgrades around the house, and we need to do another upgrade. We just did something with the HVAC. I need to pay that off. That's $9,000. Solar loan, that still exists. That's about $15,000 remaining. I did a video on the solar loan, just in case you guys are wondering. Still super happy with solar. I'm not happy with the company that installed it for me, but the solar product is very good. So I'm not saying this for everybody, but at least in my area in Virginia, solar worked out well. With the solar, with that, and I also got new front door, new windows, and new trim work on the outside of the house because a lot of it was starting to like go bad. All together, I have somewhere in the neighborhood of like $60,000 worth of home improvement debt on the house. I need to get that paid off. I'm not gonna be able to get it all paid off immediately because now I need to do. We have a leak in our chimney that I need to fix. So I need to get that taken care of. Now I make a good amount of money, so I can get this stuff paid off pretty quick. But I mean, it's still a hurdle. I still need a budget. I need to stop letting my lifestyle creep upward just because my income is creeping upward. I need to be careful with that. So I made a budget. I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to work towards getting some of these debts paid off and get them clear. That's because sometime in 2024, maybe 2025. My wife is transferring and we might move. Now we've still moved geographically in the same area, but it might be because of traffic. It might be better to move to another side of a waterway. Not sure yet. So we're gonna have to wait on that. Now if we don't move, I want to do a house addition. And I priced out remodels before, but when you're doing an addition and you're adding square footage to the floor plan of your house, it's rough. It's very expensive and a lot of steps you have to take. So we're gonna start looking into that. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll see a huge recoup in the home value. Some things we will, like we're updating the kitchen, we're updating the bathroom. Like we have 2.5 baths here, and 1.5 baths. The main bathroom upstairs and then the powder room downstairs are all updated. But the master bathroom is not updated at all. It's still got the original fixtures from 1989. So there's been some paint, of course, but the tub, the shower, the toilet, the vanity, all original with the house. So we want to fix that. We want to add on to the master closet, and then we want to add an additional room over the garage. So expect to hear more about that. I'll probably do a whole video just on that. But anyway, I feel like that's enough about my personal goals. What are some of yours? Leave them in the comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching and keep saving.